I disappeared from my business and it made more money. Now, a few years ago, this would have been impossible because I was the one doing everything, answering calls, answering live chat, fulfilling all the orders myself. And I was convinced that nobody could do it better than me. But that mindset was killing my growth. So I built systems that allowed my business to run and scale without needing me. So if you're new to the channel, my name is James Eardley. I've done over £1 million in ecom revenue, and now I work for maybe an hour a day to maintain and grow those stores. So let me dive in and show you exactly how I've made that happen so you can implement it into your business. Now, first of all, pre-disappearance, this was the problems that I was seeing and you might be able to resonate with if you're building your Shopify store out now. I always felt like I was on. Because I was the one responsible for answering live chats and phone calls and emails, I could never get more than like 20, maybe 30 minutes of focused work done because ultimately I looked like this. I was always waiting for the phone to ring and I could never fully concentrate. Also, I felt like it was my way or no way. If the business didn't run in the way that I wanted to do it, the way I like to fulfill orders or upload products or update my website, nobody else could do it in that way. And I felt like nobody could do it better than me. So I had to be doing everything myself. Also, I was seeing plateaus in my business. I got to about 30K revenue a month with my Shopify store, and I saw that just plateau off. And I didn't know why, what was happening, what do I need to understand? And the reason for that is because I would got to my natural limit that I could take the business to. And it started to sink in. My reality was becoming very clear to me that I had taken my business to the point where as far as I could take it on my own. And that was how much I was capable of because of the skills that I had at the time. And so this is what my business looked like. If this is the amount of growth at this side and this is time, you can see here I reached the level that Jay, myself, I could reach. And the business got to that level while it was all me, and we plateaued. And what I realized needed to happen in order to continue the growth was to get to the next level of how much I could take it, was to get to a level which involves a team, which I'll get to in a second. And when I did that and I made that change, my business was able to keep growing until it would naturally reach the next plateau. And then I had to keep reinventing my business over and over again. And I think this is a pattern that you'll see in your business. You'll be able to grow your business to a point, and then you'll see a plateau. And you have to then take some action that you've never taken before in able to grow your business, in order to grow your business to the next level. Then you'll grow it to that next natural limit, so whatever your capacity is at that time, and you'll have to reinvent yourself again or reinvent and start to pivot and understand how can we get to the next level. And it's a constant ladder of this in business. Now, the biggest moment for me was when I hit this first plateau, which happened about 30K a month. And the biggest change I needed to make was realizing that I was the one getting in the way. I was the reason that I couldn't focus and scale my business because I was always on. So I had to implement systems that I'm going to explain now. So I was in desperate need of freedom systems, and I needed to see these systems in my business as freedom systems because that's what ultimately they were creating for me in my life. Freedom to be able to leave the day-to-day running of the business to people that are more qualified in order for me to live my life how I want to live it and work on the things that I actually that benefited the business more than just the day-to-day running of the tasks. Now, the decision of which systems to build first were these top 3 systems. The first one is the customer service. So this is answering the phone, your phone line, answering live chat on your ecom store. It's being there for emails, for after sales support. That's the first thing. The next one is order fulfillment. So every time you receive an order and you need to make sure that that order gets to your customers, that's the next thing we need to hand off. And the final thing is all of the different admin related tasks. So this is like saving invoices into folders, keeping on top of the numbers, how much you make per order, all the different admin tasks. These are things that you'll be bogged down doing. And these are the first 3 things that as soon as you give away, you can focus on the things that really move the needle in your business. So once you've identified these are the 3 things that you're going to give away, there's a simple 3-step process that I use to systemize anything in the business. And the idea when you're creating these systems is you've got to think to yourself, if I was to step away from this business now, what would need to be done by somebody else in order for the business to carry on running? And then you just need to document how you do that. So the first step in documenting how you're doing any of these tasks in your business, first step is to record a Loom video. So Loom video. Loom is just a software that you can download on your PC, on your Mac, whatever you're using. Download Loom, record yourself with a screen share and talk over the screen share of you completing a task from start to finish. For example, order fulfillment. This will be triggered by an order coming in Shopify. You'd record yourself receiving this order in Shopify, looking at order details. You'd then take the next step in emailing the supplier or checking the stock conditions. You'd then make sure that the supplier invoices you and you get the tracking number. Whatever's involved in that process, you'd go through that, record it all, and get that recorded in a Loom video. We'd then turn that into an SOP. So I like to do the Loom video first, because what you'll get is, if you're on the pro version of Loom, you'll get an SOP created automatically. If you're on a lower plan in Loom, you can have a transcript still, and you can then just send the transcript to ChatGPT and ask it to turn it into an SOP. So this is super quick. This could take 10 minutes to record the video, 5 minutes to create the SOP based off the transcript, and the third step is just to save that in the right place. Yeah, make sure you're organized. If you use a task management system like Monday, make sure it's saved in the right area. If you're just using Google Drive, which is all I use for the majority of the businesses that I'm working with, super simple, just make sure it's saved in the right place. And suddenly you've got systems of how you work as a business, and you can get excited because as soon as you create a system, you've recorded it, created an SOP, saved it in the right place, you'll be able to have that ready to outsource. We'll talk about how to outsource now. So now that I had started to create systems and SOPs for all of the things I needed to give away in my business, I could now think about getting the dream team on site, because I had the systems that they'd be following, I had the processes for them to follow. I just needed somebody to actually help me out in my business that would be able to do this. So simple 6 steps that we're going to go through now to do that. And this is exactly what I did. I went to a website called onlinejobs.ph, which has fantastic people based in the Philippines who will want to work remote and have got expertise in customer service and admin and order fulfillment. And there's a real good talent pool of people over there, but you can only access the best people if you know how to. So the next step is to create a job post, but in that job post include an Easter egg. That means that you only get the best people apply to your position, and you can filter through the people who do apply to get to the absolute best of the best. Now, I've actually documented this whole system into a VA hiring toolkit, and if you want that resource, send me a message on Instagram and I'll send it across to you. But the key with a job post and putting an Easter egg in is asking them to give you something that requires a lot of attention to detail for them to notice. So what I like to do is ask for a photo of a carabao, which is like the national animal of the Philippines, inside their job post, their job application. And that way we can filter out anyone that doesn't do that, clearly hasn't got a good attention to detail, and the people that do are the type of people that we want to be working with. So make sure you have that. Also in your job post, make it really clear the expectations that you want for your job. And the way I've done this is with the template job post. And if you want that template, I'll send that across to you. But I made a really comprehensive job post with an Easter egg, and it meant that when I had my applicants, it was easy for me to shortlist from the hundreds of people that applied, because I would only need to pay attention to the people that met all of the requirements from the job post, including the Easter egg. Then once we've shortlisted, I set that shortlist, which is generally about 10 people, I set them a task. So the sort of task you'd set them is give them a example situation that they would find themselves in. So if they're doing your customer service, they'll need to know how to reply to people that need to handle a return or a damaged product on delivery, and make sure they know how to handle that task. Then the 3 or 4 people who have handled that task the best will then invite to a half-an-hour interview, and I'll interview the top 3 or 4 people for that position, and I'll spend time getting to know them as people and understanding their experience of why they're perfect for the role that we're positioning. And then there will be somebody that stands out as the best person from this initial talent pool of 100 people. We'll have somebody who is the best after the interview, and we'll onboard those people using the SOPs that we've just created. All those freedom systems that you put in place are ready to go, and they can get on board very quickly and start helping you to take less of the day-to-day into your daily actions, and so you can start scaling the business. Now, what does this actually mean for you when you follow this system? Well, post disappearance, these are all the benefits that I started to see. I realized that at this point now, my main job now was the owner of this business, and I would oversee the team rather than diving into the weeds and doing everything myself. I no longer had to dive into every live chat message, following the email inbox and being ready for phone calls, because I had people on board that were better at that job doing that for me. And I just needed to make sure that they had everything they needed to do a fantastic job in that position. It meant I could then spend time optimizing my marketing campaign. So Google Ads is the primary way that I did get traffic to my sites. And so I could just optimize the Google Ads and make sure that I'm getting a good return for my investment on the ad spend that we've got in place. And then what happened as soon as I hired that first VA, I 3x'd my revenue within the first 2 months of hiring that VA, because I could increase my ad spend, I could optimize my marketing because I knew we could handle that extra capacity. We had extra capacity for it, and I knew we could deliver on these new orders, and we knew we could help out with all the extra questions that were going to come in, and I knew how to get more sales because I had more time to focus on doing that rather than the day-to-day of the business. So I 3x'd my revenue while only needing to be available on my business for maybe tops an hour a day to make sure that I could do these things. But obviously I did more than an hour a day, but if I had to, if I was away or whatever reason, the business would still run without me, and I had to just do a minimum of an hour a day to keep everything running. And the difference from before to after was unbelievable, and the payoff was that I had more time and I got more revenue at the same time. So it's a combination that I know works so well. I'm not the only person that's been through this. I now help people like my clients that I worked with recently, Adam and Jared, and a few other people who I've worked with. They've implemented the same thing. They've gone through this process. They've taken themselves out, and suddenly they've seen the benefits. Like people making 10K orders now, having VAs fulfill those orders for them, and they've got a money-making machine. So this absolutely works, and it's incredible to watch this happen. And it's incredible for for what's happened in my life. Now, for example, earlier this week, I went to Edgbaston to watch England cricket, and I was able to be there all day, and I'm not constantly checking my Slack notifications or emails or having to wait for a customer phone call while I'm watching somebody score a century. Yeah, I can actually enjoy myself, whether that's watching cricket, whether that's traveling abroad, which I've done a lot recently. I'm able to enjoy that lifestyle without constantly being on the phone and waiting for orders to come through while my ecom business continues to generate income all the time for me. And it's so powerful. I know this is the process that will grow businesses, but you have to go against that mindset that's holding you back, which is telling you that the way you're doing it right now is the best way. You have to remove the ego, which, to be fair, you've done because you clicked on a video like this. You're the sort of person that's willing to learn and take things from other people. So take this from me, that you remove your ego to one side, understand that there is a way of doing things that's not working for you right now, get people involved, get systems in place, and you can scale, make more money while spending less time on the day-to-day running of your business. So with that said, I hope you've enjoyed the video today. If you want my resources, the first thing to do is to follow me on Instagram. I share loads on Instagram. If you send me a message as well, I'll send you anything that you need access to help you systemize and outsource your business. And with that said, I'll catch you in the next video.